So the booty bandit is walking around the dorm, but he's doing something really unusual, and I didn't know what it was. This is the story. So I'm 18 years old. This is my first time in the parish jail. I'm upstairs in the dormitory for the first time ever. I never had no experience inside an adult jail before, but this is it. This is my first experience. I'm sitting at the day room table, and I'm watching this dude walk around, and he's sniffing the air. He's walking around sniffing the air. I'm like, man, what old boy doing? Man, what's that dude doing? You got to think I'm 18 years old too, you know. So I'm wild. This is more of my wild age, but I'm in jail, and this is a whole different story. You know what I mean? This ain't the stuff you really know about. You know, you got to learn this stuff. So I'm in here, and this is a jail. This is full of the worst of the worst. You know, the parish jail. And I'm watching this dude walk around the dorm, and he's just sniffing the air. And I'm like, man, what's this dude sniffing for? So this went on for days, me trying to figure out what this dude was doing. Finally, I'm watching him walk around. He's walking up and down the bunk area too, sniffing. But I noticed too that he's kind of focused on just certain areas and certain people where he was sniffing around the most, And I'm kind of paying attention. I'm observing. One thing I'm observing. I pay attention. And I'm watching. I'm saying what he's doing. But I'm noticing he's sniffing around areas where more or less the younger dudes are too, And so he's sniffing, walking around the dorm, and finally I'm having a conversation with this dude, and I'm like, man, why that dude walking around sniffing? He said, oh, man, he's sniffing for punks. I said, sniffing for punks, man? What you mean? He's like, man, he got this ability, man. He been to prison before, man. This dude like his dozen time in prison. He's been in and out of prison his whole life. And, he likes boys. I say, he likes boys. Yeah, he likes punks. So I'm like, all right, now, I'm understanding what's going on. He's like, yeah, you gotta watch out for that dude. But if he ain't really sniffing around you, he ain't, he feels like he can't make you a victim. He really sniff dudes who he thinks is a victim and dudes who are weak or dudes who were up the road already and are boys already. I said, okay. So he's sniffing. I said, well, what he sniffing for? He said he's sniffing for farts. I said, sniffing for farts? I said, that's some wild stuff. He said, yeah. He said he got an ability. He tells everybody that when a man fight, he can pick up on the fight if the man is scared or weak, or if he's fearful of his life, and if he's going to turn himself out. So he focuses on that smell, and he focuses in on the fear that comes outside of a man's fart, that comes out of his butt, the air, and he can sniff it. And I'm like, this is some wild stuff. This is disturbing, And 18 years old, you're like, man, what's going on? So come to find out, this dude really walked around sniffing for weak dudes, and he would move in on the weak dudes by smelling them, sniffing like that. I'm like, this is some crazy stuff. This is only one of the crazy stories that I've seen, in prison. This is my first experience inside jail, a parish jail. And but the dude wasn't stupid. I noticed he wouldn't go sniffing around none of them old gangsters as area, them wild dudes who were slamming cards and yelling and screaming, them dudes who were thugging out. He wasn't messing with none of them dudes. He wasn't messing with nobody, who was going to stand up and fight for themselves. He was looking for weak victims. And then some of these dudes that he's sitting down in the bunk area where he's sitting on their beds, and I'm like, oh, yeah, he got that little dude, he's going to get him. Well, this is in the parish jail, there's not no place that they can go. Everything's wide open, The bathroom area is wide open, shower area is wide open, TV room wide open. Everything is like one open area, so you can see from the back, from the showers, you can see all the way straight through the dorm. Vice versa, from the phone area all the way back to the shower. It's just one view, So he's going to get this dude as a victim when they get up the road, I guess. But this is some crazy stuff that I experienced, man. Booty bandit sniffing for farts. Booty bandit sniffing in the air to find out who his next victim's going to be. This is the insanity of prison and jail. It's not a good place to go. And it took me a long time to even want to discuss these things. And everybody always was like, you need to, to share these stories. I'm like, I'm embarrassed to say that I even know these stories and I experience these things. But it's been a long time now. I've been home from prison now for almost 20 years. I haven't been in trouble. My track record's good. And I feel like now's a good time to go back and tell these stories. Some of these people I'm probably telling these stories about may not even be alive now. I don't know. But I'll share my stories as I come across them. Yeah, but don't go to jail because you might get your butt sniffed. Let's get it. Check out the channel, With or Without Parole. Like and subscribe. I'm trying to grow this thing. Support somebody who's trying to do something right. Thanks.